Welcome back to Badger Radio, broadcasting live out of the Twin Cities and from Peacedale Studios, which is a perfect little title because Joan Steffend is in the studio with Victoria and I. And Joan has written a book called Peace In, Peace Out.
Should have been Peace In, Peace Out, Peacedale.
Peacedale. So you should live on
thinking.
You should live on Peacedale.
I should totally live on Peacedale. Exactly.
It's kind of perfect. Well, Joan, you've done a lot of things in your life, and I was saying earlier in the first part of the show that I don't know how you refer to yourself, but I kind of refer to you as a peace advocate.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
Like a person, but not just like in the wars, ending war and all that. Which I know you're all for stopping wars.
Exactly.
I know
Joe was stopping war.
Yeah,
let's do more of that.
Yeah.
No.
What more war? But it's a personal and interpersonal peace as a starting place.
Well, how are you ever going to shift a world if you don't shift an individual?
Yeah.
I am a distiller of information because of my time at KARE 11. Well, it's a television station here in town. And as a TV reporter, you're constantly asked to distill until you get to a kernel that you think might contain most of the truth, and then you put it out there. So that's kind of what I did with peace, because peace has been something that's drawn me to it my whole life. But then you start to think about, okay, how can you do that? Can you point fingers at the Middle East and make that change? No, you can't do that. You start distilling it down. It's like, okay, what I can do is shift me, work on me, make me my peace project, see if I can even find peace for myself. Going to entertain adding more complexity to their life.
That's right.
So it is the simplest things you can do to love yourself a little bit more and offer that to the world. So I'm very happy with it.
And you've written it in I don't know what there are. There are about 35 peace in and peace outs.
Something like that.
I can't.
Yeah, I can't add.
I tried to count them, and then I got bored and started looking around at other things.
I know, right. You and I must have similar personality types.
I got into the mid-20s and was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
There's
now.
a bunch.
There's a bunch, but it's a great book. I mean, it's in the industry. It's referred to as hard case. So it's a hardcover, which I really like.
Thank you.
And it works left page and right page. And I bring that up because when I first got it, this caused me to realize something to myself. I opened the book, and apparently I always look to the right page.
Oh, interesting.
Like, I don't know if that's because I'm left-handed or something.
Oh, maybe.
But I looked to the right, and then I started flipping through, and it wasn't until the second time I picked it up that I realized that the left page was the peace in segment.
Yeah.
And the right side was the peace out segment. Like, somehow I didn't think that someone would lay a book out like this. Like, I think it's a clever way to lay the book out.
I
can't imagine most readers are going to have that problem.
I don't know. There maybe should be an instruction manual. I don't know. I thought it was simple, but.
Well, you mean like putting on facing pages, the two ideas? Yeah,
right.
I think that should get most people.
On the left-hand side, there's a little blue, an extra blue quality to it, and it's peace in.
I know, and the second time I looked at it, it's got this very, peaceful blue and then white ink, and then white words, and then on the other side, it's white page with blue words, and I still took me 2 tries. So,
well, I'm glad it's interesting to you that it can occupy your mind for that amount of time.
But so you've tried to do something, right? You try to say there's like a peace in process, and then there's a peace going out of you process. So something that happens in you and out of you. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, if you look at the world, that's kind of how the world is set up. What goes in comes out. There's a rhythm to it. There's a cycle to it. You are what you eat. You eat a tortilla chip. You are. I mean, it's that whole.
I thought I would learn Spanish, but I keep trying that.
You can't. You can't have a life that's all out breath.
Yeah.
You can't have a life that's all in breath. You have to find some kind of balance to. And you have to have something to give if you're going to give something. You need to have it there to begin with. We're a nation, I think, that or a culture that asks a lot of out breath. We honor out breath a lot. We applaud out breath. We build statues to out breath. Work harder. How are you? I'm very busy. I mean, that's the typical response.
Funny. We just said the first segment. I'm a guy like that. I'm a very out breather.
Yeah.
Breathe all over people. Yeah, I totally get that.
Then you end up kind of recycling the same breath all the time. And if you take time to to go, oh, wait, who am I? Oh, wait, who am I now? And maybe I'm not the same person I was yesterday, or maybe I'm not the stories that I was telling myself yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's the opportunity to sit down and be and examine and be grateful for, and then go out into the world and go, oh, I have something a little bit different to offer you now.
Well, and like one of the examples in here is maybe it's even one of the first couple of them, but it's smile at yourself, which I thought was really interesting. Like, it shocked me how uncomfortable that made me feel when I read it.
Yeah, tell me
why.
I
even tried it. Well, I don't know. Like, the idea that
you've got a great smile on your face right now.
Do I?
Yeah.
Well, because there's other people here, right? And I noticed that. I'm like, because in this, so the breathe in, or the piece in was smile at yourself.
Yeah.
Think about it. And then the piece out is find someone. And I'm like, I could do that really easily.
All day long,
see
right?
someone and smile. So I don't. That's not like I'm not one of those people on the TV commercials where, like, before I had my teeth corrected, I couldn't smile. I mean, I don't think I have. Like, I don't think I'm ashamed of my smile.
Yeah.
But like the idea of looking in the mirror,
Yeah.
which you say in that little bit,
Yeah.
and smile at yourself.
Yeah.
That was curiously hard for me to think about doing.
Well,
Isn't
perhaps
that funny?
that's something that maybe you should consider then.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, okay, start small. Start small and smile at yourself in bed. You know, just like don't look in a mirror and start smiling at yourself. But there's even a scientific reason for that.
Yeah.
I mean, they say that if you smile, they say, I don't know, I can't guarantee
Whoever
this
says
is
these
true,
things,
but they say if you smile, that it releases a cascade of chemicals in your body. Your body doesn't know whether you're faking it or not, apparently. So smile. So start your day with a different set of chemicals in your body. But you don't have to look in the mirror. You can just lay in bed and smile at yourself and go, I am pretty darn cool.
Yeah, I try.
Extending kindness
to
yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
It might be a little hard for you.
Okay.
I know. I'm going to send you a little text every morning. Like,
Smile at yourself, like a little smiley face, just a little simple little emoticon. But that idea, which I think is clever about the book and helpful for people, is that you don't have to start with an end in mind. You can start with something internal to you, right? I mean, isn't that part of what you're wanting? Like,
yeah, I mean,
it's not just goal oriented.
No. Well, I mean, it can be whatever. Yeah, I mean, you could set a goal for yourself if you want to. I'm not a big goal setter. I'm more of a process person. Like, where am I in the process? Who am I today? Who am I in this moment? And then kind of following my own breadcrumb trail. That's the way I do it. But I'm definitely not a prescriptive person who says, this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
If you have a different way that suits you, fine.
And
that's why half the book is empty.
Well, I was going to ask about that because you even start the book with that kind of an introduction, which I think is really nice. Like, look, I have something to offer, and I'm not a peaceful Zen guru, but maybe I have something to offer you, and if that's meaningful, then let's go on this journey together.
Right.
And then you've worked hard on your contribution, and then the last half of the book is like a journal,
right?
Isn't it?
It is a journal.
It's designed to be a journal.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got a little taggy thing in it where you can find your place.
A taggy thing. Some call it a ribbon.
I thought that was worse. What are those? A placeholder ribbon.
Placeholder ribbon. Yeah. Because I don't have the answers. I have some of my answers.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for more answers, and I'm assuming that everybody has brilliance within them. We're all divinely made and connected, so why would I say, I've got all the answers? So I'm just asking people to excavate their own.
Yeah, that's great. And so how do you think people use it? Like, I know people who are journalers, and they always buy good quality books like this because it's an important thing they do, and they like invest. They spend $10 or $15 or $20 on a journal. Yeah. And then other people are like, no, I do that, but I keep just a little flimsy notepad or something. Are you finding that people will use this for their?
I haven't really had enough experience to tell you how they're going to use it. I'm just hoping that there'll be some idea that they will entertain, that maybe to sit in silence and listen to themselves is a good idea. And however that happens, if it's just, if there's a grocery list next to some, deep thought in that book, I don't really care. I mean, I just care that people entertain the idea that there's some depth and divinity to who they are, and a brilliance to be uncovered. Because I think, and this goes back to that first book that I wrote, which is all about you're born brilliant and unique and purposeful. Just like you cannot look at nature and not see that everything has a purpose and everything unfolds in a certain divine way. And we kind of cut ourselves off from that. So this is just asking people to somehow get back to some of that, if not all of that.
Well, somebody who's written about this in this in the sparkle. I forgot the name
And
of it now.
she sparkled.
And she sparkled.
I know. I can't believe you didn't answer that. You didn't remember that.
Which is great. It's a terrific book. And now you've worked on this, and you've worked on the Peace Begins With Me process.
Yep, I've got a project called Peace Begins With Me, a small, big peace project, which is all about the same stuff. It's inner peace. It's asking people to, you can't point fingers at other people and say you should be peaceful because then I could be peaceful.
Yeah.
All you really have to offer peace to the world is you. So it's just asking people to be more aware of the energy that they bring out into the world, because we all put it out into the world.
Yeah.
You walk into a Target store, that Target store changes because you're in it.
Yes.
So if you walk into the Target store with, and this is not a commercial for Target, although I do enjoy it, but you walk into a Target store with an intention that the texture will change for the better, that you will bring something more light into it, then it will change in that way. If you're unaware of it and you come in and you just had somebody flip you off in the parking lot, or that will change the texture too. So it's just being responsible for what we're putting into the world.
So talk about your own process of thinking about this. Like, were you raised in a family or with people who talked about inner peace and like interconnectedness in the world? No, probably not, huh? Yeah.
I loved my parents. I still love my parents. They're not with us anymore, but no. I think peace has become this desire, this really deep passion of mine, because I felt so little of it growing up, and I couldn't understand why I felt so. I felt displaced, misplaced. I had no idea why I was here. I felt like I was the absence of good qualities. I just so wanted to feel the ease of being in my life and in my body and in this world. And it looked like everybody else had this kind of an owner's manual, and I was left with none. So I have looked my whole life for peace, and I've looked in all the wrong places. I looked. I was a theater major. I looked on stage. I thought, applause, that will fill it.
Yeah.
People think I could do this pretty well. They applaud, and sometimes they stand up. That didn't fill it. I thought television is a real, people look at that and think, you're successful because you worked on television.
Oh, yeah, or think that somebody who could do that, who can get in front of a camera and look at it and say things for whatever number of minutes you have to, and have people want to watch you do that again the next day. Yeah. I think people assume, well, that's someone who's kind of got their life together and they figured it out, and they're people that I want to be more like. Right.
And on an external basis, the life looked really, really good.
Yeah.
You have a great home, you have a car that, and you've got family, and I adore my family, and I doing my best to follow the rules and to be the person I thought I was supposed to be, and it didn't fill any holes either. And so then I got a different job on television. I thought, this will do it.
Where you mastered thriftiness.
I mastered thriftiness on Decorating Sense on the Home and Garden show.
In fact, that room out there is highly influenced by sensibilities from a TV show I used to watch. Called Decorating Sense.
I am proud of that.
Oh, we went to shops because we saw him on that show. Yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah,
and I'm grateful. I think that show actually added to the idea that we are kind of, we can be creative, and we can be in charge of how we express ourselves in our home. So I'm really grateful for having done that, but didn't fill that hole inside me. It's like, okay, well, now I've been to the White House, and I've done the dream home, and I've done, it's like, it's like, okay, what's left? It's that internal journey. It's that interior part that I had forgotten who I was at my core.
Yeah.
And I was
and how did that come to you? We haven't talked about this before. I mean, at least I don't remember knowing this.
Well, it was the end. Actually, it came in dribs and drabs. There were little hints all along the way. I was given a Myers-Briggs test once, and to me that was life-changing. It's a personality test.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm an ENFP, which I was told was the least valuable personality type in corporate America.
Oh, interesting.
I'm kind of proud of that.
Yeah.
But when they told me that, I was all of a sudden aware of the fact that I was something. I truly thought I was the absence of good qualities up until that point, because my family was very much like, if you're awake, you are doing something and you're working hard and you are, you're building a barn or you're cleaning the floor or you're doing something. And
sounds glorious.
Oh no! And see, and I was the one who wanted to sit and read and dream, and I had lots of emotions and all that sort of stuff. So that was and so ultimately the book really, my first book, And She Sparkled, was kind of a passport to me, because it allowed me to see that I had actually been missing. I was just the people pleaser who was trying to make everybody else feel okay with me instead of me feeling okay with me.
How did religion play into this? Have I ever asked you that?
No, I don't think. Well, I think the first time we had a conversation, we talked about it actually when our children were very, very small.
Yeah,
we ran into each other.
Did that help? Did it hurt? Was it sort of?
I think
that's the kind of
both.
Stuff that religious people try to traffic in, right?
Right.
That's that kind of God-shaped emptiness in people.
Right.
But boy, I don't know. It seems to me that religion doesn't tend to foster as regularly as they might purport.
I think it created pain for me in some ways, because I didn't feel like I was good enough.
Even before God or something.
Yeah. Growing up, it was a very Lutheran, stoic kind of a. If a child's crying in the church, get the child out of the church so I can continue my sermon. That kind of a thing. And then I went searching again. I kind of put that away for a while. And then I went back to it, thinking during that exploration process, thinking maybe now I'm ready for it. And I did a Bible study group that was pretty intense, but it became clear that they were also judging me, saying that I could not move ahead even in that Bible study group because I had been divorced. So it was saying. So it's saying you could never be a leader. And then if you were a leader, you needed to wear a dress, and it's like, okay, these rules are not serving me. So I went, it was out of that pain that I started having, the idea that I could have a relationship on my own. And somebody once told me I am my own priest. And I think that is very much true. I like the community, but I feel like we need to be honored as beautiful, creations, independent and with their own soul and their own way of reaching to God.
Yeah.
So,
and that seems like what people desire: community and peace. Do you see that coming together at all? Like people who organize religion or practices or whatever, I don't know. It just seems to go funky for some reason pretty quickly. But in the ideas like in And She Sparkles or in Peace Begins With Me or Peace In and Peace Out, do you sense that there's any kind of communities of peace forming?
Yeah, I mean there are a ton of communities of peace out there, but even that the human desire to divide up into teams is really present.
Yes, it sure is.
So that is one reason why. Again, I wanted this to be the simplest thing. It's, we're just coming out of the political season where you could divide up on almost any issue. But is there something that we can, really simple, that we can start with, that we can come together on? And I'm hoping that this is part of the issue. I would love to be able to get people of peace to come together and feel their own mass. Yeah. Because I think if we could feel our own mass, we would know that there are so many more of us in this world who long for something better, who are willing to try for something better.
We were just talking about that earlier in the show, that when people collectively are working for something or intentionally thinking about something or however, that together then that creates something new or something happens as a result of that. We were thinking about it in terms of holidays, but it applies this way also. And I feel sometimes in our Solomon's Porch community, like this energy together of this kind of goodness, if you will.
And have we talked about David Hawkins before? There's something he's on my website for Peace Begins With Me, peacebeginswithme.org, and he's an orthomolecular psychiatrist, so big brain.
I don't even know that word.
I know, I've memorized it. So,
wow.
It has. Well, he worked with Linus Pauling, so it had something to do with what you take in physically, how it affects you mentally. But anyway, he had a huge spiritual experience about 40 years ago, left for the deserts of Arizona and spent a lot of time taking his scientific principles and measuring them against spiritual experiences and decades. And he developed something called the consciousness scale. From that, he said, one conscious, loving person, just one, you, me, you, can balance off 750,000 who are not.
Really?
Yeah. On an exponential, there's an exponential scale that he developed, the consciousness scale. But it invites you to raise your own consciousness, because that's what's elevating the rest of the
opposite.
Right.
Like,
that's
there's
right.
one bad thought, and it can offset thousands of others, right?
Yeah, that's how we tend to think about it. So
and it's basically measuring fear versus love, you know. So it's saying that love is like that drop of powerful stuff that can really clean up a big bucket of mess. So
in the book, you have one of the little segments I liked a lot. It's they're not numbered, but it's numbers 22 and 23. So I've used the page numbers.
Okay.
And it made me remember this one. You write, what would you do today if no one was watching and no one was judging? Would you sing in your car, and not just when the lane next to you was empty? Would you wear mismatched, multicolored socks with your business suit? Would you roll in the newly raked leaves in your front yard, no matter who was peeking through their windows? Would you revel in the smallest act of rebellion? I dare you. And then the piece out is, here's the deal. When you dare to do something that is slightly outside the norm, you give permission to others to do the same. There's freedom in not being the perfect definition of a grown-up every hour of every day. Give someone else that gift by showing them who you are. Like that's an interesting one. Do you remember putting that one together?
Yes,
what was behind that? What was behind that one?
I'm just tired of being a grown-up. Tired of being the idea of what a grown-up needs to be. It's like, you're going to this place, so you have to dress in that way. You're going to speak to that person, so you have to be to present yourself in this way.
It's more limiting. Like the more grown-up you are,
right?
The less.
And the joy is back there in the self-expression of it. And I just the season that we were just in, I wrote it prior to that, but the idea of like, I love leaves in the fall, love, but you have to rake them up really quickly, and you have to mow them up, and you have to mulch them, and you have to get them off your lawn so they don't blow into somebody else's lawn. It's like, I want to get out there, I want to lay in them. I want to walk through them. I want to kick them like when I was a kid and smell them.
I think Joan has lost her mind.
I know.
She's laying in the leaves like a 7-year-old. Wouldn't they? I mean, that's the fear,
But I do it now. And there's a church on Wooddale, which is a few blocks away from where we are right now, and when I'm walking my dog, like I would say, like 7 times out of 10, I will go and I will lay down on the lawn in front of that church under the beautiful oak trees, and wonder how many people are wondering if somebody died under the oak trees. But I get such joy out of it. I get such joy out of just that simple thing that you used to do as a kid without thinking. You'd go out and you'd turn circles until you got dizzy and you fell down in a big pile of leaves. There's still joy to be found in simple things like that. It doesn't have to be going out and shopping or looking for a bigger house or hoping you get more. So that's what it came out of.
And when was the idea simultaneous with that, to say to people, when you do it, you're actually giving permission to someone else to do it, and some people need a little camaraderie or some community or some help to be able to do that.
We don't want to be seen as abnormal. We don't want to be seen as crazy.
Well.
No.
They can be really
what do you think
hard
that
on you.
not to be really like psychological about, but do you think that's because, do you think we like repress that kind of freedom and fear and experimentation because, I don't know, people are afraid that like things are going to get out of control
if we express ourselves?
Yeah, if we express ourselves, or because I'm around serious people all the time, and
like
I still think I know, and I still look around. I'm like, God, like that guy's probably got, at least that guy's like taking care of life and business, like.
But he probably goes home and has a train set in his basement or something, and he takes out his little boy, and he's out there, making little trees for his.
I don't know.
You gotta do something, otherwise life gets very dull.
It does get dull, and it gets so
Get sick.
it's angsty. There's so much angst in all that.
Yeah.
It's just
But we have choice.
Right.
Yeah, but we choose not. Conformity is
right.
taught in our schools, if you think about it.
Oh.
I so honor teachers, so honor them, but the first thing you do is tell kids what to be curious about. And in my mind, curiosity is our soul talking to us. We put them into a school and they say, you can't be curious about that right now. We'll talk about that in 2 years.
Yes.
No. So we say you need to be curious about the same things at the same time. You need to know the same things at the same time. We teach our children to conform, and we teach ourselves to conform because that becomes the rut that's so easy to fall into.
I mean, I watch parents. We don't have to do it now because our children are older, but I watch them do the right thing, which is to put their child in a car seat.
Right.
And you watch a kid, a toddler-age kid, kicking and arching the back and doing everything. And it's like this fight, and you get that thing down and click it in, and the parents shut the door. And everybody feels horrible. The kid is screaming, and the mom is like, it's really something, isn't it? Like
it's metaphorical for
it sure is. We have
everything.
All these other things going on in our lives where you have to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe what it means to be a grown-up is that you also have the places where you're encouraged not to do that. Like it's truly playful.
Yeah, you don't have to go off the deep end, but let's just look for the balance in it. So, and I often wonder sometimes whether the huge number of prescriptions that are written for antidepressants for our young people, it's just, it feels epidemic to me.
Yeah.
I wonder if sometimes that comes from just looking at the generations ahead of them and going, really?
Yeah.
That's it?
Right.
I have to put that away. Just hope that I get a boat that I can be on Lake Minnetonka for
wait around for
an
Thanksgiving
hour a
so
weekend.
I can have a break from work.
Yeah. So
well, this is a terrific book. People can get it. It's a gift. It feels like a gift book as much as like just a book you buy for yourself.
I think it could
do
be.
You think so?
Sure.
Did you intend that? Do you intend for Peace In, Peace Out to be written? And by the way, I should mention because I didn't say this very well, but the author on the book is Joan Steffend and you.
Right.
Like that's great.
Thanks. I don't have all the answers. That's for darn sure.
Everyone can become an author.
Yeah,
exactly. If they just buy a copy.
There's
of
a place
Peace
for
In
your
and Peace
bio
Out.
in there.
A place where people can write back like their peace in, peace out.
I would love if they would write to me, and you can get to me through peacebeginswithme.org or on Facebook, or there's a joansteffend.com as well that's down right now, but it will be up within the next week or two. But yeah, I'd love to hear. And who knows, maybe there's another book in there that's mostly just you. Maybe the next one is you and Joan Steffend.
Yes.
I don't know.
I like that a lot.
I don't know.
So if people are thinking about Christmas gifts and all, it's a really classy book. It even has a little raised thing in the front.
Thanks for noticing.
It's nice.
Yeah. And my publisher says it's really high quality paper. So
it is high quality.
Well, it's nice paper.
I don't know
Do
if
they keep
these
bringing
things.
that up to you? Like, seriously, Joan, we splurged for the expensive paper. Could you get out there and go tell people about the book?
It's gorgeous. I love it.
Yeah, it's terrific. And people can buy it at, that's what I was starting to ask you, can they buy it at regular old bookstores and gift shops? And
I think locally in the Twin Cities area, you can buy it gift shops and Barnes and Noble, and Amazon.com nationally, and it is in a lot of little gift shops. But that would be the easiest way to find it is Amazon.com or Barnes and Noble.
Contact Tristan Publishing. And
yes, that would be awesome.
Well,
that would
thanks
be
for your
awesome.
friendship and
Thank
thanks
you
for the book and for being part of it. And
I love
for being on
talking
the show.
to you.
Yeah.
About important little stuff.
Oh, it's just great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's excellent. So happy Thanksgiving. Do you have big Thanksgiving plans and all?
I am cooking, so I will be going from here to a restaurant and madly scrambling, trying to remember what goes into a Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, it's happening now. Isn't it? Like it's 11:30 here.
Right.
That means the grocery stores are filling up and people are going to start to stress out. Well, that's Joan Steffend. Joan, thanks for the book. Victoria, happy Thanksgiving, and to all the rest of you on our way out, happy Thanksgiving and peace out.
Cool.